We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
What is going on, YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here, or maybe instead of YouTube I should just say, hey Thomas, how you doing? Since apparently no notification going out, so it may be just us for the whole day. So, we shall see, but Thomas says that Bird of Prey did not care for the latest episode of Orville. And that surprises me because Joe so far has really liked the Orville. Although I will say, yeah, I know it says 4 people are watching, but okay, there we go. Captain Jesse's in the house. Good to see you. Hi, watched the show, had a great Starship porn last night. The Orville is super great, and even though is some way getting a tiny whiny bit better by the episode. And even those somewhat and Discovery. Yeah, Discovery, I will say this. Now, I haven't watched Orville yet. I'm very much looking forward to it. So far, as if you saw the very beginning of this conversation with me and Thomas, you know that the only person I know of that apparently didn't like it, but I only heard it from Tom, so secondhand, the only person I know of that didn't like it was Bird of Prey. So with Joe, if he joins us here shortly, I'll have to ask him directly what his thoughts were without spoilers. But you know, I do think that Orville this season has been really good. I think that Joe doesn't like the flavor of Orville this season as much as last season because, like, I kind of appreciate the little intimate character episodes they've been doing leading up to this, and then that, to me, that makes the big events more impactful when you have that emotional connection with the characters. But some people prefer every episode to be bigger. And I'm not saying, like, oh, superficial explosions. I mean, that some people don't like the small, intimate kind of moments. So, I guess Bird of Prey had some laughter that everybody loves. I'm going to have to find that. So, and how, when you say short video, I'll try to skip the spoilers, but yeah, Mr. Miles, it looks like a lot of people didn't get notifications today. I don't know what's going on. It's freaking YouTube. Sorry, I shouldn't say fricking anymore because according to Tilly, that's all right, so Bird of Prey 5. All right, so let's see, lights and shadows, city skyline. Let me go to this video. Let's see. Well, I see his lights and shadows video that came up 18 minutes ago, but I don't see the Orville. Sorry I'm late, says Multicom 9. I was puking in the bathroom after hearing about Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. Yes, sorry if my video was a part of that. Antchecker, I still can't skip back on the stream. Really? I hit the enable DVR button. That's weird. Oh, he laughed in the Discovery one, not the Orville one? Okay. Oh, I see. It's only 47 seconds. So, yeah, let's see. We're gonna experience the beauty of Bird of Prey here in just a moment. And Peter can't rewind either. Man, YouTube hates me. That's all there is to it. No notifications coming out. The DVR is not, functionality is not working even though I checked it. Whatever. Alright, that's not what I wanted. We want this one. Alright. So this is the epic video in question. Clip from his Spoilers and Pain Lights and Shadows review. So let's see what he said.
Sarek has decided that she has to take, I can't even say it. I can't even say it. She has to take Spock to Section 31. To Section 31. What the fuck? What? Why? Why not take him to your captain? Captain Pike? Oh my God. Breaking down. It's all breaking down.
Oh, that was good. So, yeah, we might have to save that. Alright, and... meanwhile, Thomas...
Sarek has decided that...
Oops, did not mean to do that. Thomas throws $1.99 into the chat and says, here's a $1.99, number 8, please, so we can get a little more Bird of Prey goodness. You got it, my friend. And while you're doing that, I'm going to work on a super secret thing here.
Anal na trach, was betad, doch hiel den Weg.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Duchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Man, that is like, I love that. Alright, so you might be wondering, what was I doing here while I was messing around? And you'll see in just a second. So, oh, Bird of Prey is here. Well, isn't that just a coincidence there? We were just talking about you, my friend. So let's do this. We'll go at about, let's try 50. See how that looks. So now let me bring this, get this bigger over here. And there you go. I know, not paying attention to the stupid screen. So good to see you, Bird of Prey. I understand that you did not like the Orville Part 2. Now, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm shocked. So I am absolutely shocked. And let's get that. All right. So you might be wondering, well, didn't I just show this? Yes, but, you know, second time is twice as nice, right? So let's show this one more time. Oh, if it'll play. Bear with me.
Sarek has decided that...
That's not what I meant to do. Alright, let's fix that. We got 2-speed duration. And I forgot to hit that little button. Alright, let's try that again.
That she has to take, I can't even say it. I can't even say it. She has to take Spock to Section 31. To Section 31. What the fuck? What? Why? Why not take him to your captain? Captain Pike? Oh my God. Breaking down. It's all breaking down.
Now, that's now Bert is saying that I slowed it down. Absolutely not. That's how it originally was. All I did was download it from the from the website so that we could see it. Now, I did find, and this is what a lot of people did not catch, and I have to say, you know, you really got to pay attention. But Bird of Prey actually did post 2 versions of the video. One in English, the one we just saw, and then he also posted one in Klingon, because, you know, Bird of Prey is a Klingon. So let's check out the Klingon version.
No need your host. No need your yeah, this night. This night, you forget Daniel. Yo! No, yes. Disgusting. No, yes, disgusting. Cops, yes, the station. Yes, the Vietnam. Yes, the Vietnam. Yes, the station. That's the house of the grass.
All right, Bert. You know I love you, Joe. So I will stop. But that was good. That was your Klingon version. Yeah, no, I don't want to hear spoilers for the Kalon War thing. But so Captain, so, yes, I did edit the news slightly. Luke Favark is in the house. Good to see you, my favorite French Portuguese crazy man over on the other side of the pond, as always. Someone help me. There's no internet where I'm stuck at. Well, Wesley, if there's no internet, how are you communicating with us right now? Obviously, you have internet. Howard thing, Darth Revan's here. I had a crap day. Went to the doctor about my feet. He was useless. Now I feel crap. Well, yeah, doctors will do that. I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've been to the freaking doctor about either my back or the arthritis in my knee. And the doctors are just like, yeah, well, you know, it'll do that. Thanks. Bird of Prey says, a legit tsunami hit my city and city skylines, but the anti-trekker district did not get hit. Well, of course not. That's karma. That's karma, Joe. 10,000 plus dead. Wow. Did that happen on one of your recent live streams? Because I missed it. Was it like on my training day or something when I couldn't watch much? How many times is the Orville going to have its upper quantum loop nacelle ripped apart? I don't know, Captain Jesse. I've not seen it. So please, no spoilers. So, I mean, obviously I'm expecting the Orville to not come out without a scratch, so that's not a major spoiler that the upper quantum loop nacelle got ripped apart, but I don't want to hear any more detail than that, please. Bird of Prey 5, next time you can hit your theme song. Oh, yeah, we need to, that's what we need. All right, so let's get this bad boy fixed. All right, so we need now... so what kind of music goes with Bird of Prey's Klingon speech there? When you guys hear that little rant of Bird of Prey just now, what, oh, Peter made Bird of Prey. Oh, that's what he was asking me about the music. I mean, oh, yes. Let's bring that up. So we'll bring, in fact, let's go here, go to Peter. And yeah, it's in my downloads. It's BOP1 WMA, and then is it the same thing you sent me, Peter, or is it something something different? Because I see the let's see, yeah, let's go open and show, and then, oh, this is gonna be so epic in just a moment here, you guys. I tell you, this is gonna be the most epic epicness of all. All right, so first of all, let's, oh, and it's even just about the right amount of length. That's so awesome. All right, so first of all, let's hear it just in its raw format here. We're gonna have fun with editing today. That's the name of this stream.
This is totally off the bat. I decided to improvise earlier, so here we go again. This will need editing out, this introduction.
Yes,
I'll let Antitrip have it, and you, of course, Bird of Prey. So, shall I start?
Yes, you should
Joe?
start.
Let's go. Bird of Prey.
All right, so first thing I would do is let me cut out that. All right, so I was just editing it down so that I don't have the extra stuff there. All right, so now let's hear the song itself.
Bird of prey, he's a gentleman. Bird of prey, he'll send you for physical therapy if you seriously cross him. Oh, bird of prey and city skylines. If the citizens aren't careful, he will send a meteor to destroy them all.
Alright, so that's not half bad, but here's what we need to do to fix all this. Alright, so first of all, we can't very well have a Bird of Prey theme song unless we're looking at Bird of Prey. And don't worry, Bird, and I know a lot of you guys want to talk about the Orville, but I have not seen it yet, so please, no Orville spoilers. And Captain Redneck wants to know who strangled the cat. Well, Captain, let me see if I can get this stupid thing to work, and we'll talk about that. All right.
Ooh, Captain Redneck is on the bridge. Ooh.
Good to see you, Captain Redneck. Now, let me... Alright, here we go. Alright. The total length now is 1 minute, 13 seconds, and 21 frames. So now, we make yours oops. Not 1 hour. That would be horrifically bad. Alright. 1 minute, 13 seconds... Oh, shoot. I did it again. I put it for an hour. Okay, 1 minute, 13 seconds, and 21 frames. And so we'll maintain pitch All right. So no, this is not the anti-trekker theme song. Unfortunately, this is the Bird of Prey theme song. But now we've just repaired the whole thing so that we can see Bird of Prey while we're watching or hearing the Bird of Prey theme song adjusted properly so that it sounds just so much better. You're slowly moving your sub count from one caliber to another. Yeah, yeah. I'll sort something for you. Well, you're always welcome to do that. But we'll see if it works out. So let's take a look here. Oh, it's got to render the file here. Yes, almost up to 7.62. You're right. All right, so let's try that.
Bird of prey, he's a gentleman. Bird of prey, he'll send you for physical therapy if you seriously cross him. Oh, Bird of Prey.
It looked like Bird of Prey is suffering by hearing this music.
City skylines. If the citizens aren't careful.
Alright. I will not make you suffer anymore, Joe. So Bird of Prey says that Saru is the last Kelpie now. Yeah, that's an interesting. I talked about this a little bit on my Discovery reaction. Is that the anomaly apparently exploding should have pretty much wiped out the Kelpians. So way to go! We have an episode where we get to meet and you know, hopefully care about Saru's sister, and then the next episode she's killed off screen. Brilliant move, Discovery. I like it better when Discovery Sunday nights at 8 p.m. and the Orville Thursday were 2 different days. I agree. I prefer that too because I don't like Discovery coming out on Thursdays. Screws with my schedule, but that's what I'm stuck with. Can I just go back to work now? Seems way better than listening to that. Sorry, Wesley. Oh, did I not? I forgot. It's still up. I didn't realize that's still on. Let's bring that down, hopefully. Come on, you. Stop. There we go. All right. The Kelpians have plot armor. They're fine. You're probably right, Captain Redneck. I'm just saying that anomaly blowing up so close to the planet was stupid. Mr. Captain thought Orville was awesome last night. I'm glad to hear that. So far, yeah, please no spoilers on the Orville. But so far, the general consensus is everybody except Bird of Prey loved it. That's kind of what I'm getting, is that Bird of Prey is the one and only person on planet Earth that did not like the Orville last night. So, here's what I think of that. First of all, I'm not criticizing Joe for not liking it, because obviously everybody's entitled to their opinion. And that's not a problem. If one person likes it, another person doesn't, it just means it works for that person. But I also, watching the Orville this season, there's a couple of episodes that Bird of Prey didn't care for that I thought were really good. So, based on that, I'm going to suggest that, well, I probably will like it because pretty much everybody loved it except Bird of Prey. Hector says, I reserve my opinion until you see it. Captain Redneck loved it. So, you know, there's that. So maybe I won't like it so much since Captain Redneck and I so rarely agree. There could have been more sex, piss, and poop jokes in the Orville last night, says Captain Jesse. Well, you know, I guess they were too busy with the whatever they do to save the Earth to have enough sex and poop jokes. To hell with Star Trek Discovery and Orville. Get back to Stargate. Now I told you, Mr. Miles, me and Mrs. Antricker are watching Stargate, but you know, and I know that I said I was going to get a Stargate review out last week, and I didn't. but it is coming. I'm sorry it's been kind of crazy around here trying to get things back in order. Yeah, you have no idea how much time that gets sucked out of your life when somebody dies in a messy situation. And it doesn't end just because you're not there anymore. Why wasn't Saru concerned about his planet after the temporal anomaly exploded? Because he lost his gangula dropped. And so he doesn't care about much of anything anymore. Peter says, I haven't Fox UK at the moment, so I assume that means you couldn't watch the Orville yet. That's true. I still love Star Trek 2. Eddie Tricker hates that movie. All right, Captain. I'm sure, you know what, whenever I get around to reviewing Star Trek 2, you will probably accuse me of hating it, but I don't. I love Star Trek 2. If you and Mrs. Antricker watch SG-1 together, why don't you watch Orville together? Well, she would, but the only reason I did, because up until last week, that's exactly what we did. We would always watch it together, and she'll still watch it with me. But starting last week at the suggestion of Mr. Potts on Saturday night, I did the live Orville reaction. And so if you guys like that, then I'm going to keep doing that. Harry throws a couple of bucks, says condolences for your loss. Thank you, Harry. And I'm not trying to pull heartstrings or anything with that. I mean, that was a month ago now, and it's difficult, but you move on. And as my mother-in-law, who, obviously that affected Mrs. Antitricker more than it affected me as far as on an emotional level. For me, the biggest difficulty is to try and help Mrs. Antitricker get through it and to help her with all the practical things involved in the death of a family member, especially the death of a family member that's unexpected. Because when my mom passed away about 5 years ago, it was a very different situation. My mom was diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer. She only had 6 months, and so she basically sat down with me and my sister, pulled out a binder and said, okay, here's everything you're going to need to know. And she opens up the binder and she says, okay, this accountant who is actually married to my cousin, he drew up this big trust and everything and had the will and everything, and here's how it breaks down. And so it was very organized, very easy. The process could not have been simpler. We didn't have to go to probate court at all. We had the entire estate dealt with within a couple of weeks. With Ms. Antricker's mother, it's going to probably be next year before things are done. Live reaction to SG-1 episodes make it so. That would, I don't know. The problem with that, Mr. Miles, is that, man, how many live reactions can I do? Yeah, I'll tell you what, if I was doing this full time, I could probably dedicate a night a week to that. But right now, I just don't have the time. Let's see. Do you think YouTube accounts will ever be handed down from father to son? I don't know what the legal status is of the ownership of an account. I will tell you this. I had a scare with cancer a while back, and I actually did reach out to someone else. At that time, my channel was, compared to this, much smaller. It had about 3,000 subs, which at the time I thought was a lot. And when it looked like I was going to, I was going under the knife and I didn't know if I was coming back. So I reached out to someone and said, okay, if I don't make it, my wife's going to send you an email with the passwords and stuff. I'd like you to take over the channel. But fortunately that didn't happen. So my mom's cousin's son died in October with cancer. He was meant to live, faded rapidly. He was 32. That is tough. Yeah. And so, yeah. And someone said their mom died now, see, the comments scroll by too fast, but I thought someone said their mom died a while ago. And Harry, by the way, if you want a super chat, oh yeah, it was Harry. Says my mother passed 43 years ago. Harry, how? Your mother passed 43 years. She died when you were like a baby or something? I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming that you're not 120. So what happened? Live reaction to Captain Marvel from the theater. I wish I could get away with that. I really do. Yeah. Wesley says, my grandma passed away last month. Man, that is... Grandparents are tough in that they tend to be the first we lose in our lives. And for those of us that are... Those of us are lucky enough to get to know our great-grandparents, obviously those. But I never knew any of my great-grandparents. And so that can be tough because that's your introduction to death, so to speak, is usually a grandparent. Parents are tougher because even though you're now, you should be at a point where you understand life, death, all that, but then it's someone you're so close to. Mrs. Antitrekker has had a very rough year because in 9 months' time, she lost her younger sister and her mother. And you know, that I don't even want to think about that. Harry, you're 73? Well, you sure don't type like a 73-year-old, I guess. Sorry, I just... So I assume she was still pretty young then. If she died 40-odd years ago, you were a young guy. My dad died in 2001, suddenly, drink-related heart attack. I'm sorry, Peter, yeah. See, I've known a few people whose parents or parent died when they were very young, and I don't even know how you deal with that. That's tough. Although I'll tell you, the person that I feel the worst for as far as death in the family and stuff is actually my wife's stepfather. He's not technically my father-in-law because he was divorced from my mother-in-law, but my wife's stepfather, you know, that's Mrs. Antitrekker's sister that died last year was his daughter. And he is now about Harry's age, I believe. I think he's like 72, 73, around there. And, you know, his 40-year-old daughter is gone. And how do, or 45-year-old. And how do you deal with that? How do you wrap your head around that? You know, I know there's the old cliche that no parent should ever bury their child, and I could only imagine what that man is feeling like. Someone older than Antitrekker, impossible. No, Thomas, it actually is possible, believe it or not. I keep waiting for the good news of my father's death. It hasn't come to me, though I'm still hopeful. Wow, Mr. Miles, that's dark. Although I kind of understand that better than you would think. Not because my parents were not abusive in that in any kind of severe way to where I was hoping for them to die or something, but a very, very good friend of mine who I won't name because I don't want to embarrass him or anything, but his stepfather, man, was this guy a dick. And I mean, when we went to high school together, me and this friend of mine, and when we would go over to his house, and like, he's the one that got me into comic books. He got me into new wave music, stuff like that. And when his stepfather died just a couple of years ago, he was literally celebrating. He was, I mean, he looked like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders because he hated that man. And I feel bad in a couple of ways. I mean, on the one hand, I'm happy that my friend feels like that burden is gone. That concern about this abusive jerk is just off the planet and he doesn't have to worry about that. But on the other hand, I really hate the idea that you hated somebody so much that you are literally celebrating their death. And that bothers me. Was blessed with many great uncle and grandparents. We grandsons are almost professional pallbearers. One grand and great aunt left. Cherish time. Yes. If you have older relatives in your family, absolutely cherish every minute you have with them and learn from them. Oh, and by the way, I do remember when some places were all fields. Okay, well, I remember that too. Like, remind me of your birth date. April 20th is my official birth date. That's my birthday, yeah. And, you know, Xavier disappeared. Xavier was supposed to arrange, we were going to do a little hookup in Colorado next month. Or this month now, it's actually March now, but another just kind of disappeared. I don't know whatever happened to Xavier, and I feel bad because, I mean, even if he couldn't get the thing arranged, that's fine, but I hope he didn't leave because he was embarrassed. So if anybody knows Xavier Gamer who would hang out with us a lot, reach out to him. Tell him, look, I'm not mad at him or anything. Anyway, death is separation. That is true. Steve Shrives. Okay. Your buddy Steve Shives wants to learn about Jesus. Well, first of all, Steve Shives is very much a devout atheist. So if he wants to learn about Jesus, he's just basically asking someone to argue with, which I'm not going to try to convert Steve Shives right now. Old people sayings, anti-trigger, yes. Oh, you want the year? I was born in 1968. Anti-trigger. Can I take over your channel if you die? If yes, would you mind going hunting with me? No. Did you hear someone yell Khan during the shuttle scene with Pike and Ash last night? I also thought I heard Picard's voice in the cave with Spock. No, but then I was diverted between watching the show and talking about it, so I didn't get to hear it quite as well. I'll probably watch it again because this was probably their best episode so far. I'm definitely gonna, this is one worthy of a re-edit because it wouldn't take much to make this into a really good episode, which is amazing to me that I can say that. Devout atheist sounds about right. Yeah, he is. 1968 AD or BC. I reserve the right to withhold that information. Edgar was born in the 8th day of the 3rd moon of the harvest moon. Is that what it is? Okay. Harry says, I was born in the U.S. I was in the U.S. Army 4 years when Anti-Tracker was born. You know what? That is so nice to hear, Harry, and I don't mean to pick on you for being old, but at the same time, I'm usually the person saying that, so that's nice to hear. Did you hear Spock has special needs? Yes, don't get me. That is definitely one of the things I will edit out of the episode. The whole idea that Spock has a learning disability. I can't believe they went there. I told Mrs. Anti-Trekker, and she just about, threw... She, you know how I throw the headphones down and a couple of times? Yeah, she was ready to break something when I told her that Spock now has a learning disability. So, agreed, Anti-Trekker, best of S2. See, I hate it when you guys use a lot of abbreviations because I'm not sure what you mean, but I will take your word for it. Anti-Trekker, you'd be 10 years older than my father. He died 8 years ago. Wow. Thanks, Luke. Your dad was 10 years younger than me. Thank you so much, you French guy. It's in Anti-Trekker's will. The inheritor must not give Mr. Miles a wrench. You're absolutely right. I do have that specified in the will that if anybody shall give Mr. Miles a wrench, then forthwith their portion of any bequeathment will be forfeited and in turn destroyed. And so not only will you not get it, you will have to observe it being wiped out. And there's speaking of old, I have a birthday coming up this year. Do I get my 3D print? You will, Mr. Miles. And yes, Harry, thank you for your service. What branch did you serve in? Spock has sex Lexia for Burnham. Oh, man. Harry's so old, his social security is written in Coon for... No, Harry, I know how old you are. Your social security number is 3. Luke is a millennial? Yeah, I guess he is. So Darth Revan wants me to check good old Discord. Yes, I have seen that picture of the dude in the dress. Or no, wait, is that you said something else? Spoke with Mary. She's doing... Oh, good, good. So Mary is doing good. That is always good to hear. Absolutely. So you were in the U.S. Army? Good for you, Harry. Me too. Of course, for you and, for you especially, but also for me, wasn't the Army the only branch of the armed forces at the time, unless you were going to join the militia. Anti-Trigger, well, you better get ready because I turned 33 on the 27th of this month. Oh, man. So now I got to hurry, jerk. Did you outrank Anti-Trigger? I don't know how long Harry was in or what his rank was, but considering he served in wartime, I would assume that he probably got promoted quicker than me. That tends to happen. Luke says, I am from 1989. Do I fit your definition of a millennial? Well, it's not. Here's the thing. I don't care what his definition of a millennial is. Let's take a look at the definition of a millennial. So let's see, millennial, a person reaching young adulthood in the early 21st century. If you were born in 1989, then yes, you are absolutely a millennial. Your father was 10 years old? Okay. No, his father would have been about 20 when Luke was born, if I'm 10 years older than his father. 44, or wait, no, let me see, you're right. 1989? Hold on. If your father was, yeah, your father was 10 years old. Luke, what are you talking about? You're smoking crack. If you were born in 1989 and your father was 10 years younger than me, it means your father was born in 78. So that means that your father was 11 years old when you were born? No, Luke, don't mess with me. Wait a minute, if Antrigger's 10 years old, yeah, he's 11. So Harry's so old, even God calls him father. That's bad. I was born in 1776 on this day. Surf, congratulations on being ridiculously old. Gen X rocks. Well, if by rock you mean we're old. I just turned 27 on the 19th of February. I'm embarrassed of my generation, but I am not defined by those around me. Fair enough. He was born in 1958. So you're saying he was 10 years older than me, not I was 10 years older than him. All right, so I was backwards, Luke. I must have misunderstood what you put earlier. So that makes more sense. So he was about 30 when you were born. Gen X, the generation everyone forgets. Yeah, but that's all right. You know, because I know the baby boomers, which came before Gen X, really kind of set everything up to suck. The Gen Xers, we're just kind of here, and now the millennials really suck. Marlena is in the house. Good to see you. It was with all the hookers and blow miles. The 80s were crazy. So you're so old you went to high school with God's grandpa. Wow, what is with you guys? Commander Irewolf did not get a notification. Yeah, it doesn't seem like notifications went out to anybody today. YouTube's notification system is so effing broken. So I would ask you to make sure if you're not getting any kind of notifications, check the notifications icon, and even if it says it's on, turn it off, turn it back on, see if that fixes it. And another thing though is that now, Bird of Prey, if you're still with us, correct me if I'm wrong, but since the YouTube videos get automatically posted to the website, does that send out a notification when I go live, or does it wait until I'm done being live? Why is it the JJ Trek AMN team is older than me, but younger than Anti-Trekker, but are bullcrap SJW, I assume, writers? Well, because they're Gen Y, which is another one that everybody forgets about. The website sent an email earlier than the stream. Yeah, so what you can do is you can subscribe on antitrekker.com and get notifications that way. That way, if the YouTube notification breaks, you can still get a notification from antitrekker.com. It comes in the form of an email, but at least it'll come. Antitrekker, depending on how you ask, I'm either the last of the millennials or the first of the Gen Xers. Yeah, there's a few. Well, like I'm, being born in '68, I'm kind of on the early side of Gen X. Some people will call me a late baby boomer, but I'm really more of an early Gen X. If they watch the Anti-Trekker videos forum, they will get an email within 10 minutes of you starting your stream. There you go. So if you're not getting notifications from YouTube, go to antitrekker.com, find the Anti-Trekker video forum, and watch that forum, and then you'll get a notification, an email notification, whenever I post a video or when I go live, or at least within 10 minutes. Gen Y or millennial? Gen Y is a placeholder term. Was that okay? Well, you say so. I thought Gen Y was still unique, but that's all right. Well, let's take a look. So according to Google, Gen X, let's see, birth years ranging from the early to mid 1960s, so starting around me, to the early mid 1980s. So that would be Gen X. So if you're born before, since it says mid, we'll say, so if you're born before 1985, you're Gen Y. And the Gen Y, okay, so Generation Y is born between 1980 and 1994. And then here's the thing, Gen Y millennials are commonly used to describe the same generation of people born between the late 70s and 2000s. Man, there's like no consistent information here. Although generational historians Strauss and Howard define the millennial generation as born between 1982 and 2002, they propose that Gen Y and millennial are similar but not completely overlapping terms. There you go. He was 10 years older than you, but he died 8 years ago at 53. You're 51, right? Yes, I will be 51 in about 50 days. Gen Y! So, Peter, if you were born in 1978, you are right on the cusp there. That's absolutely true. So, like, for one definition, you're clearly Gen Y or millennial. And in another one, you're clearly Gen X. Yeah, there is no set definition. You're right, Bird of Prey. I know it's not like, because there's not like an official status. It's not like you check on the government form what generation you are. There's Luke says, "Hey, Tricker, so I'm a Gen Y millennial." Well, that just explains a lot about you. I do not put myself with this generation stuff. I'm 30. What generation is 1946? I believe that's like the early side of the boomers or the late of the greatest generation, but let's take a look. So, let's see. What is Gen, where is, all right, so if I put boomers, that's still too vague. All right, baby boomer, a person born in the years following World War II, where there was a temporary marked increase in the birth rate. So, yeah, that sounds like that's the very beginning of the baby boomers. Whereas people born before or during World War II are the greatest generation. So, thank you, Bird of Prey. Yes. I get mad allergies sometimes. I don't know why. And today I've been sneezing like crazy. So Anti-Checker is a boomer, confirmed. There are some days where I just want to slap you guys. Speaking of generations, let's talk about the bestest Star Trek movie. Stella? Stella. Really? Really, you're going to go there, huh? So, yeah, because everybody knows exactly how much I love Star Trek Generations. Ugh. Well, he's certainly not the greatest generation. Thanks, Bird of Prey. That was really funny. Hold on, just a second. What was that, Bird of Prey? Bird of Prey, were you trying to say something there? I could have sworn I heard you trying to say something. Oh, yeah. Well, what was that?
Bird of prey, gentlemen. Bird of prey.
Yeah, this night.
Send you from
This night, you Daniel.
That's my favorite there.
Oh.
That's not my official revenge video for Bird of Prey. Get Laura to sing Bird of Prey. Laura doesn't seem to do any live streams anymore. I don't know what's up with that. I was born in '86, same year I graduated high school, and same year the Challenger blew up. Yes, heralding my arrival. That explains much. Yo, guys, is this the Orville stream? No. Ancheck remembers the Civil War. Shut up. Can I get a cheapskate Beavis and Hypnoturd? A cheapskate Beavis and Hypnoturd for my birthday. Wow, sir. Everybody's always asking me for birthday presents. All right, so let me see. As far as Beavis, wow, let me see if I can pull that out of the old trash can here. And because, you know, I haven't played that one in a long time. And so let's go to my archives. Where is there? There it is. Super chat. And retired. And here it is. All right. So just for your birthday, here we go. Oh, man. And let's see. The other thing. Oh, yeah. What's the other birthday present? That's right. We want to come up here. All hail the Hypnoturd. All hail the Hypnoturd. You will give to the Hypnoturd. So there you go, my friend. Happy birthday. Sorry, Mrs. Anti-Trekker is not here to sing happy birthday to you, Surf, but I hope that you have a wonderful day. Trolita is in the house reminding us that poop is not funny because we know poop is not funny. Poop is freaking hilarious. Andre, the only present I asked for was for you to mail the package you said you'd mail months ago. I know, and I'm so sorry, Mr. Miles. It's been nuts. Can you do me a favor, Mr. Miles? Resend me your address via Discord, and I will get it out to you as soon as my next payday rolls around so I can afford the postage. Hypnoturd versus Burnham. Interesting question, but the fun fact is Hypnoturd is actually one of Burnham's poops. I am 1 year older than your mother. Luke, you are just... No, stop. Quit while you're ahead, man. Alexander is in the house, says, I'm here. Victorian baboon woman is Star Trek canon. Jar Jar Binks is funny. Neelix is God. Leslie Neal is an amazing actress. Bernie 2020, feel the burn. Alexander, you are just a special level of nuts, and welcome. Poop Hookachu, Betty Boop Giggle. Vladimir Putin. Oh, man, we're just going with all the poop jokes. Mihalo, I'm a loser at work, swing shifts, watching YouTube. Well, I'm glad you're hanging out with us. Ed Checker is a Highlander and was born alongside Ben-Hur. There can be only one. Yes. Poop is not funny. What a load of crap. Yeah, Mr. Miles, put your address on YouTube. Don't put your address on YouTube, Mr. Miles. I will not be responsible for you dropping your own docs there. Ed Checker is only 35 years old. Wow, that would be wonderful. I miss 35. Anti-Checker, I can one-up Luke. My father died at his birth. What? Whatever. Mr. Pete is in the house. Mr. Pete channel needs 666 subs. Communist 2020. All right, Mr. Pete. Good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a little while. Let's see. Burnham's unique field. Yes. Oh, man. Burnham definitely has an anti-masculinity power of some kind. Mr. Miles says 1701 for some... Oh, yeah, I remember it said, don't, stop. I'm... Discord. 35 in dog years. Oh, funny. You only get part of it, but to be honest, it is part of his address. Yes, I remember you did tell me that, and I am very jealous of you in that respect. That's not you again, Mr. Pete, is it? Because you love to drive me freaking crazy with that. No, it was someone else is following me on Twitter. Cool. Always nice to have something other than Mr. Miles re-following me on Twitter every day 17 times. It is my 8th anniversary of turning 35. Evening, Anti-Trucker. At work and things are slow. I'm not going to get caught being on my phone because boss ain't here. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Good to see a Sledgehammer. And man, I missed that show. 42 is a part of your address. Well, that's good, I suppose. Anti-Trucker, I'll tell you, I really wanted, when I got my post office box, I really wanted to be box 1701, but I couldn't do it. And so, Anti-Trucker, I want to start my own channel. I'll speak about Cybok, Jar Jar, Neelix, and 7 of 9. Alexander, you should do that, but I will warn you that, well, if you're crazy enough, you just might get a following. So, go for it. LOL, read my last comment. All right, Darth. Anti-Trucker, did you ever say to your nieces and nephews, your wife is their anti-Trekker and I'm your Uncle Trekker? No, because I have no nieces and nephews. I have a sister who is without child, and that was her conscious choice. She is one of those left-wing people that believes that having children is bad because people are ruining the earth. The only way Burnham won't be killed for going to Talos 4 is if Spock and her keep it a secret. She is on leave for the shuttle. Just erase the flight logs. I think that because here's the thing. They've got to know where they're heading. And so, I don't know. I think that what's going to happen is that they're going to find out she went there, but then they're going to forgive her because she saved Spock and as such saves the universe. I'm watching you on Twitter now. I will report you if there's poop speech. Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that. Trolita's now on my Twitter. Yeah, can't talk about poop anymore. Enter, remember to pay your P.O. Box or Joshua will receive dangerous... Remember to pay your P.O. Box or Joshua will receive dangerous alien weapons. That is absolutely true, according to this brilliant documentary that I happen to have right here, The Predator. And why am I holding this fine box of The Predator? Well, I'm actually going to give this away pretty soon. And notice it is the 4K Ultra HD version, because why not? Anti-Trucker, do you think that my channel will have success? Every channel has success, Alexander, depending on how you define success. Although I will say this, for anybody that's considering starting or trying to push a YouTube channel, do what you love. I could not, because you guys know I've been doing this for over a year now. I push myself to the absolute limit where I'm physically exhausted pretty much all the time. But I love doing it, and that's what keeps me going. I love the fact that the channel is still growing and that eventually, if I continue and I push and I push and I push, eventually this can be my full-time job. And so if you're willing to pretty much say, I'm going to be exhausted for the next few years, no matter what I do, I'm going to be hating life at times, do it. And put everything you can into it. Wait, Anti-Trucker, we have the same older sister. I don't think that's possible, considering there's only 2 kids in my family. Does Spock's mom hate Burnham? It seems like she does. Since well, that's the funny thing, Darth, is because in a previous episode, she basically said that she loved Michael Burnham more than Spock. But now, apparently, she kind of hates her. So it's like, eh. Alexander says, love to have sex with 7 of 9. Yeah, you could do an entire series of videos, but I will warn you, Alexander, if you look like your avatar there, I don't know, I can't tell if that's a picture of you or just some picture you found online, but if you look like that picture and you do videos about how much you want to have sex with 7 of 9, people are going to be very suspicious of you. I'm just letting you know. For the Predator review, yeah, reviewing how autism leads to the next stage of human evolution. And I will tell you, yes, I did get this for the Predator review. But yes. In fact, that's something I'm thinking about doing in the future, is like whenever I review something, maybe giving away a copy or 2 of it. But the... so hanging out with Anti-Trekker, or hanging out with us makes Anti-Trekker hate life sometimes. Yes. But what I was going to say is I was really afraid in last night's Discovery that they were going to try to say Spock was autistic, and that's why he's like the greatest ever. But fortunately, they didn't go there. You always try to have a job you love if you can. If you don't love your job, it's harder. That is 100% true. And the thing is, like, my regular job that I put in 40 hours a week, it's a fun job. I enjoy it. And I know a couple of my coworkers actually subscribe to the channel. So it'd be stupid for me to say, yeah, I hate my job. But I don't. I actually do really enjoy my job. However, I don't love my job. I enjoy my job. It's a good job. It's not a job that I wake up and I say, oh man, I got to go to work today. You know, it's not that kind of a job. So I'm very thankful for the job that I have. However, we should always aspire to do what we truly love and what we're passionate about. And that's where hanging out with you guys, putting together videos online, I love doing that stuff. The reason that I say hate life occasionally, Mr. Miles, is not because my love for doing it wanes, or not because my enjoyment of your company wanes, but rather because I have to push myself so hard that there are days where I just say, man, I just want to say, screw it. I'm not doing a live stream today. I'm not putting out a video. I'm just going to sleep. But I can't do that. Because if I start doing that on a regular basis, then the channel stagnates and eventually declines. And I don't want that to happen. I want to keep building as long as I can. Now, that being said, let's say a year down the road from now, the channel's still struggling to get up to 10,000 subs. And there's no significant growth in the support to the channel or anything like that. Then I got to rethink things and say, well, maybe I need to back off a little bit because I need to get some sleep during the week. But I am not at that stage yet. And in fact, I'm extremely encouraged by the fact that in a little over a year, I've managed to get up to close to 8,000 subs. So I'm thrilled about that. Surf says, I wake up and say, oh crap, I have to wake up, but 3 cups of coffees later works. What did you think of Ethan Peck's performance? That's a hard one to judge, Marlena, because we have not seen Ethan Peck do anything except be catatonic. And so as a catatonic Vulcan, he was fine. But the problem is that I really, really want to see him be Spock, not be traumatized, broken-headed Spock. And so I'm assuming that the Telosians, along with Michael Burnham, are going to help bring him out of his catatonic state, and then he will be able to be somewhat like Spock. And then I'll make a judgment on Peck's performance. I don't like the beard. However, given the context of the fact that he's been in this crazy mode for a while, I'll accept the beard as long as once they bring him out of crazy mode, he shaves. But we'll see. Alexander throws a couple of fake Canadian dollars in. Thank you so much. Says, because you are tired, I give $2 to you. Thank you, comrade. Although I didn't think you guys had money. Hey, Ad Checker, the turd icon. What's the knot in the head? That was an invention of Acid Designs. He put the knot in the head because it's like a vein bursting, like when I go on a tangent. 2 pots of coffee for me. I have my coffee maker literally right there. So, yes. You need to take lots of stimulants and stay awake. Yeah. Catatonic and talk crazy. Yeah, and so, yeah, Marlene says it's a fair point. Yeah, once I see the meat of Spock's character, I'll be able to judge. So far on Discovery, and I said this last night, there are only 2 characters currently on the show that when they come on screen, I kind of cringe a little because I don't want to see them, and that is Michael Burnham and Tilly. Other than that, I'm actually beginning to enjoy all the characters. I just wish they would flesh out, like Robot Chick and Navigator Lady and Helmsman Lady and Communication Dude. I'd like to know more about these guys, but they're just not getting anything but 1 or 2 lines in an episode, if that. And that, I think we need to develop those side characters. So, especially Robot Chick, since she apparently is a major part of the plot now, and we still don't know jack about her. And this is something I went off about last night, because here's the deal. You have this cool-looking Robot Chick, which, by the way, since I'm on the subject of Robot Chick, this will only take a moment. Mr. Miles thank you, by the way, Mr. Miles, sent me a couple of pictures that I want to share with you. And I am not an anime guy for by any stretch, but this is a really interesting comparison. So it'll come up in just a second. Maybe Asian guy could say his name is Edward Kim. That's funny. That I wouldn't be surprised. So here's a picture of Robot Chick from the show. And here is a picture of these things from Dragon Ball Z. Now, I've never watched Dragon Ball Z. I don't know what these things are, what they do. But dang, they look like Robot Chick. I mean, all you'd have to do is change the color scheme a little bit on their faces, and bam, that's Robot Chick. And I know her name is Ariam, but she has no character. She's just there. She's a prop. That's my biggest problem with her, is that she is not a character at all. And I do hope we learn more about her in the next episode, but we should be learning about her before she has a crisis. And that's a major problem with this series, because if you are, you know, if we're talking about, and this is the example I brought up last night, if we were talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation, and in season 2, and I'm not pulling out a real story, I'm just, well, actually, let's do it. Measure of a Man, right? Great episode. A lot of people love Measure of a Man. But you know what we knew about before we watched Measure of a Man? Data. Even though Data is not the main character of the show, we understood him. We knew that he wanted to be more human. We understood that he is observing people and trying to emulate human behavior. And we understand how naive he is with certain things, right? We knew Data before we had a crisis centered around Data. And Sledgehammer's taken off. Have a great job. And don't do it, Hammer! Take care of yourself. But the problem is that with Robot Chick, we know nothing about her except that she is a robot. And exactly, so Stella points out, 21 episodes in, and, you know, we know, as far as the current bridge crew, we know, obviously, Michael, Saru, Pike, right? That's pretty much it as far as the bridge crew, because keep in mind, Stamets is not bridge crew. Tilly is kind of sometimes, but it just depends on the episode. Sometimes she's down with Stamets, sometimes she's on the bridge. Tilly is just whatever they want her to be that episode. But yeah. So Mr. Pete throws 666. That would be awesome. Throw me a $666 super chat, Mr. Pete, and I'll start plugging your channel all day. But anyway, throws a couple of bucks in, says, execute order 666. Hail Saturn, we just need 62 more. Awesome. Good job, my friend. I'm glad to see your channel growing. Robot Chick has a pig nose. She kind of does, doesn't she? But I want to know what her deal is. Where is she from? How was she created? Is she truly a robot, or is she a cyborg, or what? What is the deal with Robot Chick? We don't know. We know nothing about her. And I hate that fact that it looks like the next episode she is going to be, and probably, I would assume for the next couple of episodes, based on the future virus, she's going to probably be a major part of the story, and we know nothing about her. They might as well have said that the Asian dude that that Pike was talking to is going to be, ooh, he's the center of... Yeah, you know, who cares? What happened to the Daft Punk chick? Yeah, that's the other... Yeah, what Daft Punk chick is somewhere is... We don't know anything about her. She's a woman, so you're just supposed to be interested... Well, yeah, there's that, Starch. So... The only thing we really know about her is that she can process information faster than a human based on what we've seen. And we only learned that in the episode with the giant, or actually it was the last episode where she was helping to decode the stuff that came from the giant ball of doom. And that is, you think Daft Punk chick didn't survive the Shinzo? No, I thought Daft Punk chick showed up on the Discovery. So Mr. Pete says, can I get Bird Wizard? You absolutely can get Bird Wizard. So the question often comes up, how do you improve a darn near perfect movie? And that is clearly put Bird of Prey in it.
Anal na trach, was bethod, doch hiel den Weg.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Duchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Oh man. So I'm trying to see, does anybody know what Daft Punk head chick, what her character's name was? That's what I was trying to figure out. Let me see. Yeah, I'm having a heck of a time trying to figure that one out. So working night shifts now, going to work in 3.5 hours. What we do for money? I tell you, well, yeah, oh, and I just realized I forgot to go back to the main screen. Yeah, I mean, our whole life revolves around money. It's kind of sad, but true. Alexander throws 5 fake Canadian dollars in there and says, Wei-Yun 6 committed suicide. What happened if instead he had opened an A&W franchise in the Klingon Empire and the Victorian Baboon Woman? Interesting question, Alexander, because actually that did happen, although not with Wei-Yun 6. I know you really had a thing for Wei-Yun 6, but what a lot of people don't realize is that that's exactly what happened with Wei-Yun 3. A lot of people assume Wei-Yun 3 was killed or anything, but no, Wei-Yun 3 actually abandoned the Dominion, and when he came through the wormhole, he went to Quark's. And Quark was trying to convince Wei-Yun 3 that the Dominion should not try to take over the Federation. And as an example of why the Federation is awesome, Quark gave him root beer. Now, what the part that we didn't know is not only does Quark have root beer, he actually has A&W root beer at Quark's bar. And so no, and by the way, real quick, Bird of Prey. No, I'm not talking about Arium. That's robot chick. I'm talking about the one with the big weird head. But yeah, so so after he tasted A&W root beer, he quit the Dominion because he realized how awesome root beer is. So he then, partnered up with the Baboon Woman, who at the time happened to be at Deep Space Nine looking for a job. And he said, hey, you're just the kind of person I need. And the two of them flew into the Klingon Empire thinking that they were going to open up this huge franchise of A&W root beer and make a killing in the Empire. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because they didn't take into account that Klingons like prune juice, not soda. So they ended up being executed as criminals of the state, which is kind of a shame. But yes, that's how it went down. True story. Big weird head, the one with the metal implant. No, the one that actually does it. Like they just show her. She's sitting there, and her head is like this freaking big. It's like this big shell-shaped metallic head. And so it's not. Dietmar is the one that just for some reason shaved the side of her hair and now has a couple of pieces of metal on her head. And Aram is robot chick. But yeah, she looks like Daft Punk. If you don't know who Daft Punk is, it's kind of hard for me to describe. But it literally, yeah, female crewman wearing helmet is that. So, but that's Lisa Left Eye. Helmet Lady. Yeah, that's what we'll have to call her from now on, is Helmet Lady. I want to know who is Helmet Lady. Let's see. Shows how it ended in the characters. The Boxhead Girl got console blown up his face, and now Robot Girl. It is now Robot Girl corrective surgery. But that doesn't make sense. Let me see. So looking at the cast for the Vulcan Hello, let's see. Sonequa Martin Green as Michael Burnham, Doug Jones, Saru, Shazad Latif as Ash, Anthony Rapp as Paul Stamets, Mary Wiseman as Sylvia Tilly, Jason Isaacs as Lorca, Michelle Yao as Georgiou, Mary Chifo as Laurel, James Fran as Sarek, Chris Obi as Takuvma, can't even pronounce that one. Terry Serpico as Brett Anderson, Sam Varnes Danby, Arista Arin as young Michael Burnham, Emily Coltz as Keela Detmer. Okay, we know who that is. Justin House at Torchbearer. Is it Jara Narwani? Let's take a look at that and look up that one. Yeah, she's not. That character name is not even listed on IMDb, at least not for the Vulcan Hello. But let's look up that character, see if that's who we're talking about. Bear with me, guys, as I'm old, so I don't type fast. Yes, that is in fact her. Jar Narwani. What the hell is Jar Narwani? Right? Seriously, what the hell is it? Why does it have a giant box head? Yeah, why is it female crewman wearing helmet? So, yeah, I really, really want to know. And it's like, you can't even find her listed on IMDb, that character. So, yeah, the actress playing Dietmar is one of the most attractive in the cast, so of course they have to disfigure her, yeah. Luke wants to be shown. All right, I'll bring her up. So let me go to images. And we bring it up onto this monitor and bring that up. All right, so this is the character we're talking about. As soon as the stupid picture will load. And it's like, what the hell is it? And notice it actually says USS Shinzo on the side of her helmet thing. So, like, is she a Starfleet issue robot? Nathan's in the house, says, hi, how you doing? We don't know much about her, but she's definitely an organic. She appears to have been named by David Mack, author of the prequel novels, Desperate Hours. Okay. Check Discord for my newest Eagle Moss ship. It is not canon, so no quiz. All right, well, let's take a look here. First of all, let me turn that off and bring up Discord. Thomas, what do you got for me? Oh, I've seen that design before. I believe didn't they use that design in like the Axonar thing a little bit, but I think it's like an apocryphal design, but yeah. So there we go. What's the name of that design? I can't remember. Why does Discovery need a robot girl, a girl with a cyborg guy, and another girl with a cyborg head? Because they're stupid. She's not a robot. Her helmet falls off during the battle. I'd have to see that. I don't know, but Muggles cake sniffer? Like a whole bunch of data is made work on ship slavery? Yeah, exactly. I just thought that the helmet got blown off. She became the woman with the robot eye and the head plate. No, that's Dietmar. She just, if you look in the Vulcan Hello, she didn't have the implants on her face. So the console blew up in her face, and now she has implants on her face. So Captain Foley did a review on that model. I'm not surprised. He covers a lot of ships, of course. So let's see. That was Cartman in his Buddha box. Burnham shouldn't stand for that. She should get some cyborg implants too. Well, she doesn't need them because she's already smarter than everybody. They're holding her brain in because women's brains are bigger than men's brains. They need more room sometimes. That's true. There we go. That's what it is. Saw the 3 dots at her console near the end. Yes. And so she is obviously going to be a big part of what's going on in the future, but we know nothing about the character, and I don't like that. Olin Aldejo, Joanne. Oh, I can't remember if she's helm or navigation, but yeah, it's impressive given what she has to work. She's not bad, and that's the thing. They're not bad actors and actresses. It's just that they're not given anything to work with, and that's what's pissing me off, is that I want to get to know the whole crew, not just Michael Burnham and her closest circle of friends. So I absolutely agree. The 2 ladies that are the helm and navigator on the ship, they get next to nothing except that they're there. At least Chekhov and Sulu had personalities, you know? They didn't always have the biggest part, but we understood where they were coming from. And they all had moments in the series that they shined. Yes, I'm careful not to diss the actors and actresses. They have to work with bad writing. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody on that show with the... as far as the acting is concerned, the only character that I'm suspect of acting ability at all is Michael Burnham herself. Sonequa Martin Green. Now, part of that, I've never seen Sonequa Martin Green do anything other than Star Trek Discovery. I've never seen her before, and I didn't watch her on Walking Dead or anything. But she comes off as extremely wooden, extremely condescending all the time. She only has about 5 things she does, like she does that like 18 times an episode, which is really annoying. I get so sick of, you know, I just stop it. Come up with something else to react to things with, please. But yeah, Sonequa Martin Green comes across as a very poor actress, a very poor choice. And but other than that, overall the cast is pretty strong. Now, Tilly I don't like as a character, but I don't blame the actress. I just don't think Tilly is well written. They tried at first to make Tilly kind of like on the autism spectrum, but then they kind of ditched that and they just make her stupid. But then she's also smart. Whatever. She looks like a generic robot henchman from just about any cheap sci-fi movie, straight out of the Netflix original show. You're right. That's actually true. Todd says, please check link in Discord. Look at the beginnings about 14 seconds in. All right, so let me see. Thomas, from the Battle of the Binary Stars. I hate when the ads play, so let me mute that. And wait, hold on. So the stupid ad is playing. Bear with me, guys. All right, so 14 seconds in. I'm not going to show it all because I don't want to get DMCA'd. Well, actually, one thing they show right there, and because to kind of talk about what we were talking about a minute ago, and we'll wait for it to load. But yeah, here is Dietmar on the Shinzo. Notice no facial implants at this point. So that comes later after the console blows up in her face. Let me turn this off and get to... yeah, the cameras followed Burnham when she left the ship, but at least... Okay, and then, yeah, here's the console blowing up in her face. Gotcha. All right, so... Right here, this is the Shinzo taking a torpedo hit. And there's the console blowing up in her face. But also, yeah, so there's Robot Chick, and a console blows up in her face as well. But the helmet doesn't come off. She just falls down, it looks like. That is a big old console explosion right there. I'll explore you. Oh, jeez. But yeah, this... I don't know. Yeah. But I'm going to have to... Yeah, badly choreographed reactions. That is very true. And by the way, though, I got to say this. look at the Shinzo bridge set here, particularly the consoles here, even though I know they're exploding. Look at the shape of this console. That is very reminiscent of the original series consoles. They should have used that design on the Discovery instead of having them like 25 feet apart. And I actually overall like the Shinzo design much more than Discovery. Although I will say this, why do we have multiple windows on the bridge of the Shinzo? There should just be the one. But I like this bridge set a lot more than what we got on Discovery. Burning 2020 says Alexander. Alexander, you are an obsessed man. I will say that. Windows because it gets real. Yeah. Well, but that doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. There should be zero window. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I know that in my video about Steve Shives, Steve just kind of dismisses everything as, oh, well, they can do whatever they want. Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that they're respecting the material. You know, if I decide that I'm going to make a new Batman movie, but my Batman decides that instead of bats, he's inspired by butterflies, and he wears a bright, multicolored suit, and instead of fighting crime, he just goes to donut shops and writes Yelp reviews. That's not Batman. You know, that they don't understand that. Just because you have the right to change it does not make it right to change it. Huh? That was a brilliant statement if I ever said so myself. But yeah, Batman Well was freaking on. Batman Well at least is a parody of Batman, right? So I hope you're happy, Anti-Checker. You know DC is going to make that movie now. Yes. Where Batman is a butterfly and goes to donut shops writing Yelp reviews. Your donuts are inferior because I'm Batman. Yeah, that's... remember how many windows had a Terran Saucer and Forbidden Planet? Yeah, even in the 50s, they weren't dumb enough to put windows on starships. Yeah, that's true. And Alexander's like, I need that 7 of 9. I was about to play it because, yes, Butterfly Man is on the... No, actually, if you really, you know, there is... Behold, the mighty monarch! That's my inspiration there. But speaking of inspiration, everybody be inspired by the beauty, the majesty, the grace that is Lore Reloaded.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
And Alexander, I know for a fact that you love 7 of 9 because you're willing to listen to Lore Reloaded sing that song just for that little 10 seconds of 7 of 9 at the end. So I know your love for her is deep. If the explosion happened on her right, why did she lose her left eye and get the plate on her left side? What did she do? Stab herself to get some sick days because Starfleet's... That is a good question, but, you know, the reason is quantum, obviously. That Voyager crewman died for Lore's sins. That is sad, but yes, true, Star Trek, is that the poor crewman suffered because of Lore Reloaded singing. What did I miss? Well, not a whole lot, Wesley, except that we're talking about robot chicks on Star Trek Discovery, and why the hell don't we know anything about them? And also, why does Alexander seem to like Lore Reloaded singing? Oh, by the way, Bird of Prey, since I know you're still here, I need to find that clip of you singing that same song, because remember, I was talking about making it a duet, but I couldn't remember exactly where it was. So if you could help me hunt that down, I'd appreciate it. Why do all these people have implants in 10 years? No one does. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Yeah. Why it's like, and remember in the recent episodes, like we had the guy with the proto Geordie visor in the transporter room. It's like half the crew has implants for some reason. But yes, auto destruct Burnham SJW 1701. Yes. I missed everything that is good in life. I'm sorry, Wesley. Have you talked about comic books story about Spock having a learning disability? I don't know about comic books as far as, I assume that's a YouTube channel if he's talked about it. But yes, last night on Discovery, they revealed that Spock is in fact dyslexic. Because why the hell not? Antricker, how is it that you haven't got Lore to sing the Enterprise theme? Well, you know, he has his limits. Did shuttles ever have auto-destruct before? Not that I am aware of. That is the first time that I can recall a shuttlecraft initiating auto-destruct. So, oh, Mariah is here. I was just thinking about you, Mariah. Because you left the best comment ever during that mega chat number 5. While Lore was singing, Mariah put into the chat that her eggs were dying. Oh man. So but yeah, I really am at a loss as to why they make some of the creative decisions they do on Discovery. It really does not make a lot of sense. What warp factor those STD shuttles have to zip from Federation borders to Vulcan? That's a good question, but you know, and that's the thing. It seems like the tech in Discovery is way more advanced than it will be 10 years from now in the original series. That being said, of course, if you just ask Steve Shives, he'll say, oh, who cares? They can do that. But it tells me that they don't, you know, no matter what kind of lip service Kurtzman and the rest give to canon or continuity, they don't care. They really don't. How do I feel about Spock having a learning disability, Darth? I don't like it. No, sir. I don't like it. I think that it sucks because do we really have, I mean, you seriously, do you have to make everything some kind of, you know, tick box for we're inclusive? Why can't Spock just be Spock? It's just like when and I called it last night, but it's just like when Pike and Ash touched hands for a moment on the shuttle. I'm like, okay, they're going to have a gay relationship. Just watch. Because they can't have anybody just be a straight white man anymore. Whatever. And the shuttles, actually, Mariah, I will disagree with you on that. The shuttles are not necessarily impulse only. Keep in mind that in the Menagerie, Kirk pursued the Enterprise at warp for some time. The shuttles just have a limited range compared to a starship. Yes, so Discovery is messing up my admiration and respect for Spock as being brilliant, resourceful, best friend to Kirk. It appears that Spock would not be the Spock we love without Burnham. Yeah, apparently. And the Telosians, of course, because the Telosians are actually very nice. all the tech stuff aside, Ethan Peck is a good choice for Spike or Spock. Well, that's the thing. I don't know much about Ethan Peck. I think that he's got a decent voice for it, and I'm looking forward to hearing him actually act like Spock. But right now, I can't judge it because we've only seen him in full crazy mode. Now we know Spock was read Alice in Wonderland. It would have been nice if Spock mentioned it in TOS episode Shore Leave, now when Dr. McCoy saw the girl and the rabbit. Interesting you should say that, Zachary, because you know what? There's a sequel to Shore Leave in the animated series, and Spock does mention that. They actually, in the animated series, Spock mentions that his mother was particularly fond of Carol's work as far as the Alice series. So yes, that is in fact in the history of Trek. I have dyslexia. I don't want to turn it into a gimmick. I agree, Nathan. I actually am dyslexic myself, and it is very difficult to deal with at times. And now they're turning it into an alien parasite, basically. Soon it will be a crime to be a straight white male who jokes on Satanism. Well, yeah, it's going to be, yeah, I tell you, you're not that far off. Nathan, this is exactly what they did because we see in the movies him being educated in regular Vulcan school. Well, and that's the other thing is that, you see, they screwed with Spock's childhood. And that bothered me even more than the dyslexia thing, because they showed Spock as a little tiny kid being totally in emotional control, except for the Michael Burnham made him smile, right? And that was just stupid. You know, we've seen in both the animated series and Star Trek 2009 Spock's childhood, and Spock was anything but in control. Mercer loved Orville. Please, no spoilers for Orville. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but when am I streaming Orville? Probably tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about the Orville. From the Borg of the past, you will love Discovery. Resistance is futile. Okay, so let's talk about that for just a second. Have you heard about the 2 Red Angel theory? You mean that there are 2 Red Angels? No, not specifically. I still stand with the Red Angel as Michael Burnham from the future. I also think that oh gosh, what was I about to say? And then I got myself sidetracked. Oh, the Borg. I think the Borg are going to show up in season 3 or 4. But I think that there's a way they can do it and make it work. I really, really do. And so here's the official anti-Trekker Borg theory for Discovery and how they could actually make it's for Ketwalski did that. Okay, Ketwalski seems, I don't watch his channel a lot, but you know, like I know that he recently did a timeline video that was like identical to my timeline video. So hey, at least he's smart. But here's what I want to do, or what I want to suggest is they stick with, speaking of timeline theories, they stick with my actual timeline theory. The idea that when First Contact, when the Enterprise E went back in time, it created an alternate timeline that then spawned the events of Enterprise. Why? Because in Enterprise, they encountered the Borg early on. Now, this would help fix a couple of things. Why is it that in the original timeline, in Q Who, they didn't know who the Borg was? In Best of Both Worlds, they didn't know who the Borg were other than what they learned in Q Who. Where is all that information? Because we saw in Enterprise that not only did they carefully and thoroughly examine the bodies, but they took video evidence of everything. The bodies, the Borg technology, everything. And yet there's no mention of it later on, right? Now, we know the real reason is because lazy writing, but but this is a way to make it work. So if that's in an alternate timeline, at the end of regeneration, the Borg send out a signal to the Borg Collective. And they estimate that it's going to take a couple hundred years for them to get it. But here's the trick. They underestimated it and it got there much faster. And now the Borg move in on the Federation during the Discovery era. And that would be no conflict because we're in a completely different timeline. And this time the Borg were brought in because of the events of First Contact. The Borg got notification of the existence of humans earlier. And so I think that could actually work. And so you could incorporate the Borg into Discovery and make it work, but you've got to establish the alternate timeline first. Now, granted, that could be a way of introducing the alternate timeline by making a lot of references to what happened with the history of the Borg, and Michael Burnham could put together the idea with Zephyrin Cochrane talking about the robots that tried to kill them from the future, and then piece together that would naturally create an alternate timeline. That could be the explanation for it in universe. So I think that could work. Didn't they have Morgan Star Trek Continues entry, but not my name? I don't know. I don't watch Star Trek Continues regularly. I've seen a couple of their things, but not a big fan of Star Trek fan films overall, just being honest. But CBS says Discovery is Prime. I know. But CBS also said Spock will never be on the show. CBS also said we're not going to bring in the Enterprise. So just because they said it's Prime doesn't mean they can't change their mind. And I think that would, in fact, make a lot of sense. Did Steve Shives or other YouTubers contact you after the last video? Nope, not that I'm aware of. Steve Shives is always welcome to contact me. He and I, like you saw in the video, he and I have had plenty of interactions in the past. But I would love to have a talk with Steve Shives. We could argue for hours about this stuff. But I don't think that, I mean, I think that ultimately if Steve and I, and I'll read Luke's comment and then I'll go on here. But Mr. Trekker, you should know at this point that Hollywood writers don't use linear timelines. They always use circular timelines. Everything is recycled and restarts shiny and new. You're right. That is absolutely right. But I'm just throwing that idea out there. Anyway, as far as Steve Shives, and thank you. I actually liked that video. I think it was a good rebuttal of what Steve was saying and his general attitude about Discovery and people that don't like Discovery. But if Steve and I were to have, let's say that we decided to do a live stream together and we had an online debate, and I would be more than willing to do it. I think Steve, depending on what his schedule is, he and I have had fun arguing about things before, so he might be willing to do it. We can both, and we've done it before, we can argue and not be disagreeable, which is a tough thing to do sometimes. And by the way, here's how, one of the reasons, one time Steve Shives was actually a judge in a debate between me and my friend Tim, who was one of the other people from Untitled Show about nerdy stuff. Tim and I were trying to come up with the best trash movie ever, right? So, and Steve was the judge because he had not seen either film. So Tim had to pitch it and I had to pitch it. Tim's movie that he chose was an old movie called Strip Nude for Your Killer. And the movie that I chose was Frankenhooker. And we both had to pitch the show to Steve and why our movie is more fun to watch, and he picked Frankenhooker. So I got to give Steve some props there. Anyway, oh, and you like that edit at the end, yeah, where he calls himself. I was very proud of that because it does naturally kind of flow. I love that one. The edit at the end of that video. I was very, very proud of that. And I know that some people, because there are a lot of people that I get it. You start watching the video and you're like, okay, this is boring, and you click away, right? Lots of people do that. But for those people that stuck through to the end, they got that little treat, and I love that. Yeah, those are classic movies. Yes, Strip Nude for Your Killer and Frankenhooker, classic movies. Yes. But yeah, so Zephyr and Cochran having knowledge of the board could definitely change the timeline, blah, 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 blah. But if Steve and I were actually having a debate on it, here's what would end up being. Steve would pull out it's just the Mystery Science Theater argument. Come on, it's just a TV show. You should really just relax, right? It's not real. That's what Steve's argument should be. It's going to be all based on, look, this is just not real. Why are you so obsessed with it being accurate? Okay, I'm not saying that I'm going to lose sleep over continuity errors in Star Trek Discovery. Although technically I do, because I was up until almost 1 o'clock in the morning last night doing a live stream about it, so I guess I did lose sleep over it. But what you guys know what I mean. I'm not stressing over my real life over the fact that there's continuity errors. I understand that it is a TV show. I get that it is not real. But what Steve is ignoring is the fact that it's a sign that the writers and producers of this show do not respect the fans or the source material. And that is what is turning off many of the fans. Just like with my Batman theory about Batman being a butterfly character that writes donut reviews, it doesn't respect the character and the legacy of Batman. And so if you want to retell a story and you want to change things here and there, that's one thing. But you've got to capture the essence of the original story. Even things that are radically different on the surface can do this. I think about Battlestar Galactica, right? The 1978 version of Battlestar Galactica and the 2004 version of Battlestar Galactica are very, very different on the surface. But they are, you can tell that one is directly inspired by the other. If it wasn't for the fact that they throw out Star Trek names like Talos 4 and Warp Drive, you would not know that Discovery is Star Trek at all. And Ian wants me to go back, read his previous comment. Let me see. Where is it, Ian? You guys need to learn how to copy paste because I hate go. Okay. Going by your theory, doesn't that mean First Contact? In First Contact, if Enterprise E doesn't follow the sphere into the past, that their own timeline would not change. Yes. However, the reason they saw Earth change was because they were in the time vortex, so they were seeing an alternate future. They meant will align with our guns. Yeah. Instead of time canon, you're probably right. If canon is simple as what CBS says is canon, then why do they say things like it will align with canon? Because CBS is trying and failing. They are trying to reassure those of us that are longtime hardcore Star Trek fans that, no, this is really good. This is really in the same universe. And we look at this crap and we're like, no, it clearly isn't. And you have to come up with a reason for it. Just because you can make it shinier and make space full of galactic clouds everywhere doesn't mean that's the right thing to do, right? It wouldn't make sense if the next Avengers movie was a dark, depressing, gritty film. Endgame had a dark tone to the ending, but it was not a dark, gritty, depressing film. It was a Marvel movie through and through. If you suddenly change the tone of everything, then you alienate those people that really grew to appreciate the franchise. And so, you're right, Infinity War. I don't know why I said Endgame, but yes, thank you, Peter. Why don't you call yourself anti-Trekker? Does that mean you don't like Star Trek? Actually, no, and I get that question a lot. The reason I call myself anti-Trekker is something that I'm going to reveal officially once I hit 10,000 subs. But no, I do not dislike Star Trek. I absolutely love Star Trek through and through. Sounds like Captain Marvel. Not necessarily. Captain Marvel, looking at the trailers, I think the tone is a little off, but I don't think that it's not Marvel, especially when we see Colston and Nick Fury. So ultimately, the one problem with time travel and Trek is that they never follow the same time rules from one episode to another. You are absolutely right about that, Luke. You are 100% right. Sometimes they say time is linear in a single time stream. Other times they do the multiverse theory. It's like, yeah, it's all over the place. Exactly. If they change parts of Iron Man's origin, for example, people will rip it to shreds. Well, and here's the thing, Stella, is that, like, they did make changes in the MCU compared to the comic books, but all those changes were good, practical changes to make it flow better, not changes just to make it different. And that's the problem with Discovery. Many of the changes that they've done were not done because, oh, it makes more sense if fill in the blank, right? It would make more sense if the Federation had this technology, or it'd make more sense if the Federation did. No, it was nothing like that. It was like, ooh, nobody's seen us do this before, you know? So they just change it just to change it. And they think that's going to bring people in. The origin story of Anti-Trekker, 10,000 subs or $1 million, whichever comes first. That is absolutely correct, Josh. So if somebody wants me to do the story tomorrow, then all they got to do is send $1 million to my PayPal, and tomorrow I will actually call in sick from work and do a 24-hour live stream doing nothing but talking about why I'm the Anti-Trekker. Let's see. Hector says, Anti-Trekker Wilson Cruz, the doctor, tweeted that angry anti-STD fans won't disseminate where Star Trek goes. Only we will. Yeah, and that's the problem. And that's at the core of the problem. They don't care what the fans think. They think that somehow they can dictate to us what we like. That is wrong. You can, and this is something Hollywood, anybody in Hollywood, if you're listening right now, you cannot force us to like something. However, you can figure out what we like and give it to us. I know, crazy concept. Discovery D7 has no conning tower like the real D7. It's very sad because the ship looks incomplete. Yeah, but at least they could argue it's a prototype. But I don't like, you know, so I really don't like that. We're going to call the leader of the Klingon Empire Mother. Do they have, red trees on Vulcan? Yeah, apparently I made a big deal about that last night, Mercer. Yes, they have trees on Vulcan now, even though every time we've seen Vulcan before, it's been an arid desert climate. And by the way, those shots of Vulcans that we saw in Amok Time and in Star Trek 3 and at the beginning of Star Trek 4, guess what? Those were on Sarek's land. The same place that Michael Burnham landed in. Whatever. Bird of Prey said Star Trek Discovery Dr. Blockno on Twitter. Not surprised. Why do you call yourself Mike when that's a girl's name? I'm thinking about, I need to change my name to Michelle or something. Your fans want you to see Alita over Captain Marvel, but you ignore us fans. Unsubbing. No, Mr. Miles, you want me to see Alita, and I know there's a couple others that think I should see Alita, and I will see Alita, but Captain Marvel is more relevant as far as, you know, what's going on today, because a lot of people are concerned about Captain Marvel. Here's the tricky point, though. SED upgraded its tech to follow real-life advancements, but what if they followed the original OG timeline and characters and only changed the tech? It would be better, and like I said, I'm not against certain updates. Like, I will, you know, like when I showed that bridge console earlier, if the Discovery looked like what we all right, so it should come back up, hopefully. There we go. Yeah, we're back. All right, so yeah, I don't know why it does that sometimes, but it does. So if the Discovery bridge looked more like what we're seeing right here, the only thing is that I would mandate as a change is get rid of the multiple windows thing, right? And that would definitely help. But they just completely throw it out, and that's where the problem is. Now, what I was going to show you guys, and hopefully the system doesn't crash here, and some of you probably already seen this, but let's see. What is that video called? I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what the video is called. There was a video where somebody took a simple shot from the original series. No, that's not it. But they basically took the original series shot of Kirk on the bridge and the camera panning over, and they used CG to basically change all the consoles to a more modern look. And that modern look that they did, while it was very different, at least had the exact same layout as the bridge. It's instantly recognizable as the bridge. That makes sense. I caught you, Anti-Tracker. They were not on Sarek's property. They were on Mount Saleya. No, they were not. McCoy, well, and actually it doesn't matter. Why is Mount Saleya not necessarily on Sarek's property? All we know is that McCoy said, climb the steps, Jim, climb the steps of Mount Saleya. And, you know, maybe that was Mount Saleya, maybe it wasn't. Irrelevant. It's still Sarek's property. Because in the original series, when they landed at that same place, they mentioned that was Spock's family's land. The windows were less advanced than the TOS view screen anyway. But yeah, the tech kind of inspiration, kind of like BSG. Exactly. I'm okay with changing things as long as you feel the inspiration. But that was definitely not there. That's the problem with Discovery. Anyway, guys, I do need to wrap it up because it's getting late and I got to work in just a little bit. But I want to say thank you to all of you for hanging out with me and putting up with me all this time, because you guys are freaking awesome, as Tilly would say, because fricking is now a thing.